Hello guys, my name is Tutor Olalekon Israel, your prep class tutor, and I am super excited to welcome you to another wonderful session of Learning with Prep Class. Now in today's session, we will be answering questions from the JAMB English 2019 past questions, question 16 to question 20. Remember, the purpose of this session is to help you prepare for your forthcoming JAMB examination. So, without wasting much time, let's get down to the business of today. Okay, you already know the drill. Kindly subscribe to our channel. Click on the notification bell to turn on your notification so you can be notified whenever we upload any new content. Without wasting much time, let's move on. Question 16. Identity is suffering from the consequences of alienation. So which of the options is nearest in meaning to the word in italics? Now the word in italics here is alienation. The options we have are confirmation, isolation, enclosure, and imprisonment. So which of the options is the nearest in meaning to alienation? Now the word alienation means to be separated. It means to be detached, to be isolated. Maybe identity does not even have friends. Does not have friends, is always alone, is always separated. When he goes to school, he's always on his own. So probably there were some informations that needed to be passed across, but identity did not get those informations because he's always separated. He's always detached from people. Identity is suffering from the consequences of alienation. Alienation means to be separated, to be detached, to be isolated. So the answer to this question is isolation. Isolation means to be kept apart, to be separated from others. So, identity is suffering from the consequences of alienation. Identity is suffering from the consequences of isolation. Remember, isolated is part of the explanations for alienation, like it is written in bold there. Alienation means to be separated, detached, isolated. So, isolation is the nearest in meaning to alienation. So, the answer to this question is option B. Identity is suffering from the consequences of alienation. It's suffering from the consequences of isolation. Okay, moving on to the next question. Question 17. Some children mimic their teachers. Option A, imitate. Option B, mime. Option C, ridicule. Option D, lease. Some children mimic their teachers. Now, the word in italics here is mimic. We have to select the nearest meaning to the word mimic. So I remember in my secondary school days, we used to have a teacher with this very popular phrase. Whenever it comes to the class, he can barely say 2-3 sentences without making use of that phrase. So students already knew him for that phrase. So we were copying him, we were mimicking him. He could come to the class and say, students, we will be having a test tomorrow afternoon. So if I were you, God forbid, I will start reading my notes from today. So it became a very popular slogan in school. So when the prefect wants to address other students on the assembly ground, they just come up and like, hey guys, remember the assembly bell goes by 7:30 a.m. So if I were you and the whole school goes, God forbid, I will be in school before 7:30 a.m. So it was a very popular slogan amongst students. And this was us mimicking that teacher. So the word mimic means to copy. It means to copy, to impersonate, to imitate. Now, imitate means to copy, to act like. Now, when we were mimicking a teacher, we were acting like him, we were copying him. So, imitate is the nearest in meaning to mimic. It is not mime, because mime means to suggest without the use of words, to describe without making use of words. Ridicule means to mock, to make fun of in a cruel or harsh way. So this is not the nearest in meaning to mimic. It is not lease, because lease means to give out a property for a period of time for a fee known as rent. So the answer to this question is imitate. Some children mimic their teachers. Some children imitate their teachers. This is very popular amongst students. Okay, moving on to the next question, question 18. The police ran the criminal to earth. The police ran the criminal to earth. Now, the word in italics here is, or the phrase in italics here rather, is ran the criminal to earth. Remember, we have to select the nearest in meaning for the word in italics or the phrase in italics. Now, the phrase in italics here is ran the criminal to earth. A, jailed him. B. Knocked him down. C. Discovered. D. Buried him. What does the phrase ran the criminal to earth mean? Now, the phrase ran to earth means to find after searching for someone or something for a long time. To run to earth means to find after searching for someone or something for a long time. To find after searching for someone or something for a long time. It means to succeed in tracking down after an extensive or an exhaustive search. The police ran the criminal to earth. The police discovered the criminal. Remember, ran to earth means to find after searching for someone or something for a long time. It means to succeed in tracking down after an extensive or an exhaustive search. So, the answer to this question is option C. Quickly, moving on to the next question, question 19. He is credulous. Remember, we have to select the option that is nearest in meaning to the word in italics. Now, the word in italics here is credulous. So, the options we have are credible, creditable, gullible, and fallible. So, which of these options is the nearest in meaning to credulous? The first thing we have to do is to define the word credulous. Now, the word credulous means to be naive, not knowing, to be easily trusting, unsuspecting, to be gullible. Now, imagine a situation where a child is holding 1,000 naira, just one note, 1,000 naira, and it comes with 10 notes of 50 naira. Now, going to the child to give the child those 10 notes and collecting that one note, the child will collect that one note because seeing the 10, 15 naira notes, they are much. So the child is credulous, the child is naive at that point. The child doesn't know. So credulous means to be naive, easily trusting, unsuspecting, gullible. The child is unsuspecting, the child is easily trusting because he or she is a child. Now, credible means to be believable, to be convincing. When you say something is credible, it's something that is believable, something that you can't point out any iota of doubt from. You can't bring out any iota of doubt from it. It is believable. Creditable means to be worth celebrating. To be worth celebrating and acknowledged. To be praiseworthy. Gullible means to easily believe. To be trustful. To be unsuspecting. To be credulous. Now, looking at the meanings of credulous and gullible, we can see that they have similarities. Credulous means to be naive. To be easily trusting. Gullible means to easily believe. Credulous also means to be trusting. Gullible means to be trustful. Credulous means to be unsuspecting. Gullible means to be unsuspecting. Credulous means to be gullible. Gullible means to be credulous. So the answer to this question is gullible. Gullible is the nearest in meaning to credulous. It is not fallible because fallible means to be capable of making mistakes. So the answer to this question is option C. He is credulous. He is gullible. He believes easily. So moving on to the next question, question 20. Question 20. A problem was exacerbated by the loss of a father. Remember, we have to select the option that is nearest in meaning to the word in italics. Now, the word in italics here is exacerbated. The options we have are exaggerated, solved, aggravated, and infuriated. So which of these options is the nearest in meaning to exacerbated? The first thing to do is to define the word exacerbated. Now, the word exacerbated means to make a bad situation worse. To make a bad situation worse. A problem was made worse by the loss of a father. Now, imagine a lady that just lost a child, lost a job, lost a home, now hearing that a father just died. A problem would be made worse. A problem was exacerbated by the loss of a father. Now, exaggerated means to be overstated. Exacerbated does not mean to be overstated. It means to make worse. Solved means to find an answer or solution to. Exacerbated means to make worse. Aggravated means to make a situation worse. To heighten, to increase. So aggravated is the nearest in meaning to exacerbated. Exacerbated means to make a bad situation worse. Aggravated means to make a situation worse. So aggravated is the nearest in meaning to exacerbated. It is not infuriated, because infuriated means to make extremely angry and impatient. It means to make extremely angry and impatient. Now, exacerbated does not mean to make angry. Exacerbated means to make a bad situation worse. Aggravated means to make a situation worse, to heighten, to increase a situation. So the answer to this question is aggravated. Our problem was exacerbated. Our problem was aggravated by the loss of a father. It was made worse by the loss of a father. And with that, we've come to the end of this wonderful session. Please do not forget to join us on WhatsApp. You can check for the link to our WhatsApp group in the description of this video. Also, do not forget to subscribe to this channel, like this post, drop your questions as comments. Do not forget to share this as well. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.